And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Dan Soder.
It's The Bonfire, everybody. Faction Talk Sirius XM 103, Big J. Okerson, Dan Soder. Sitting in the studio with us, everybody, it is the great Colin Quinn.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
You know, honestly, we picked the volume of audience. Some people just get some claps.
You know what?
Some people get arena.
Let me just give you some things that are actually coming up from Colin Quinn instead of that old stuff.
Why? Let's just go on.
The Last Best Hope coming up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., Wilmington, Delaware, South Orange, New Jersey. For tickets and all tour dates, of course, ColinQuinn.com.
Any comic worth his salt hates when people are just reading the fucking credits. Only the comics I've ever seen that drink it in are the shittiest ones. We're doing morning radio with them, and they're like, and also bring up.
Yes. It's like your intro on stage when they start doing the intro. If somebody doesn't understand, you're like, oh no, they must have looked at Wikipedia. And by the time you come on stage, you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, dude. And that's always the funniest thing is when you find out in the UK that they just don't do credits and they think it's like incredibly obnoxious when American comedians go, say you can see me on this, and this. And they're like,
right. Well, people ask, what do you want us to say? I'm like, dude, if you're not saying, hey, everyone, you know him from Ace Ventura, it's Jim Carrey. What does the credit mean?
Right.
The funniest one I saw was one time at the Cellar. They were bringing up Nikki Glaser, and they were going like, you guys know her from Trainwreck, from Inside Amy Schumer. And they were like,
too much somebody else's stuff.
And they're like, Nikki Glaser. And they're like, huh? It's like this, like, they still went wild, but you could hear the build happening. They were
they go,
because of the,
so
you know, the shriek, you know, the celebrity shriek at the Cellar where they go,
It's so cool to hear.
Yeah, it is. So when you're in the hallway, it's like hearing lightning crack.
Yeah.
Can I say, what is being considered gay news that's not just news anymore? This is
what
the Radio Andy.
Is talking about?
News.
Is it gay news? Ukraine and Russia.
Listen to these subjects.
This is pretty gay. Russia's trying to invade Ukraine.
But just listen to these subjects. One, whales can't choke. I don't know why that's gay news.
I mean,
Wow.
This
Writes itself.
This is gay news for sure. And is this possibly true? You can't say gay in Florida now? Of all things they would stop you from doing, Florida, it's saying gay.
I don't know if that's it.
Oh, maybe South Florida.
South Florida, Miami, I could see taking umbrage with it. Central Florida, I think that's how they greet each other.
Yeah.
They go, what's up, gay? What's up, gay wad?
And the items on Chick-fil-A's secret menu were finally revealed. That's gay news because they don't like
By the way,
Chick-fil-A.
I love this song. Is fucking very nice.
Does it remind you of like when you hear this? Are you like? Do you go back to your drinking days? Are there songs that activate the drinking days?
No, this song reminds me of like that was a bit. This is a perfect disco like 70s.
Well, this is the song, right? This is what they play when Fez came out of the closet officially
really?
on Ron and Fez. It's just dead silence. He goes, "I'm gay," and then Ron says nothing, and they go, "You make me feel," and he just goes, "Yeah."
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So this ABC News is reporting a Florida bill that would limit classroom discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity and encourage parents to sue schools or teachers that engage in these topics is speeding through the state House and Senate. It's being called Don't Say Gay Bill by LGBTQ advocates who fear that if this bill is signed into law, it could act as a complete ban on the lessons of the LGBTQ oppression, history, and discussion about the identities.
Well, you know what's funny? It does bring us to a subject. Then
I was just thinking about the Law and Order thing.
If you're on the phone, everybody, hang in there. We might come.
We still got 50 minutes.
Call back. Yeah, we got so much time.
Well, you watch Law and Order religiously.
Yes, it is my religion.
And one of my favorite Colin Quinn bits is about you never being on Law and Order.
How about one of my earliest jokes? I don't even know if anyone would get it. One of my earliest jokes to comedy. I go, I work out religiously. Only on Christmas Eve and Easter. That's the only time I used to go to church.
I mean, yeah, that's how into comedy was that? Was that year one, year two?
Oh, year one.
Year one?
Oh, year one.
Do you ever think about year one jokes and you just go,
Most of it was horrible, but I'm telling you, some of those jokes, I wish I could write them today. I used to come out on stage and go, my girlfriend has a face like an angel, a hell's angel.
Yeah, he goes, we've been getting liver for 10 years, but it only feels like 10 minutes. Underwater.
And the other one, I used to go, Danger is my middle name. Actually, it's my confirmation name.
Was this in 84?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Murdering, by the way.
Yeah. It's killing. Well, Jay is a religious viewer of Law and Order.
Do you have seen it, Christine? Yeah. You do. I love the show. I've been very vocal of my. They're very irresponsible with their rip from the headline stuff.
Oh, remember when they did the rapist comic?
That's the one. That's the one I always go to because it was like such a personal thing.
Right.
It was when they were saying, "Is people making rape jokes encouraging actual rape?"
It was the Daniel Tosh.
Not only was it found in court to yes, in fact, be liable of causing rape.
Right.
But then also the comedian himself, also a rapist.
Yeah, that's right.
Who played the comedian?
Jonathan Silverman.
Jonathan Silverman,
Right.
and they filmed it at
Beach
the
Memoirs,
and they did Comic Strip Live. That's where he did sets in the episode.
Yeah.
Jay showed it to me, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
You can't even do comedy there anymore, let alone rape comedy. The Comic Strip Live, you can't even do comedy.
I mean, Lucian, sure, he'd pass if you had a good rape joke.
But that's was sad about comedy in a way, is that all these famous all these people, and if one TV shows, we want to film here, they're like, oh, like it's 1975. Oh, they want to film like we're in the middle of fucking Ohio in 1970. Hey, a film crew's coming into town.
Guys, a location scout came by.
Yeah, you're going to put up like a
like
diners,
Bonfire.
drive-ins, and dives was here like they do on some shitty diner in fucking Omaha.
You know, in the middle of Manhattan, there's like famous people walking in, but they're like, oh, a film crew.
Yeah, seriously. You could see Susan Sarandon on the subway, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this was in a cable crime show? Oh, this is fucking big.
They were filming The Mentalist on my block.
So you love the fact that you love Law and Order is infuriating, by the way,
Why?
for me.
Well,
Because, first of all, I've watched. You don't know who you're talking to. I've watched many Law and Orders for various reasons, and
I'm only SVU.
it doesn't matter. I'm not allowing it. And yeah, and if I just watched Law and Order and then visited New York City, I would keep as far as possible from the crime. The only place crimes are committed, the Dalton School.
If you go to the Dalton School, you're asking
90% of the crimes are committed on the Upper East Side, either Park Avenue or the Dalton School, either a private school on the Upper East Side.
Wasn't that the whole that whole HBO thing with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant?
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Private school kids. And
That's right.
Murder and intrigue against.
Murder and intrigue.
Well, a bunch of the episodes, they just do things where I'm like, this is a bad. Like you're taking it such a weird stance on this. Obviously, well, this episode starts off with Benson has a son. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Mariska Hargitay has a son now, who was somehow, against all odds, she was able to adopt because it was a baby that she was watching. This baby and a witness who was a junkie. Right. Junkie dies.
She takes the baby.
She's just allowed to have the baby, I guess.
Right.
It's Law and Order law.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So she's had this kid now since he was pretty young on the show, and now, like, you know, every year they take off, he's just aging a bit. So he's 9 years old now, his character. And they have this discussion, if you would, when
this is from the episode that just aired.
It's really, I thought it was going to be the Dick Wolf screen, which when the show's over,
Right.
it says Dick Wolf.
Sure.
I was waiting for Dick Wolf, but they gave you a little.
Man, it'd be great if when people are like telling you stories in just regular conversation, if you hit the Dick Wolf at the end of their story where you knew it was done. You're like executive producer Dick Wolf, and you're like, oh, that was a pretty good story.
Well, I thought it was going to be I think the very first scene of the episode is her son's in like a big dog cage, and like some older kids like fucking with him.
Oh, yeah, no. Which is, listen, if you've
It's
been
Big
around
Brother
older
shit.
kids,
Yeah.
you've been in a dog cage.
He was at a friend's house, and the older brother was just being like shitty to them.
You've
Like,
ate stuff for money in front of them, or you have been in a dog cage. That's part of having a friend with older brothers.
We used to put my brother in the closet until he would say the N-word. It makes no sense. It didn't mean anything.
And
we just couldn't believe he would do it.
And that little brother grew up to be a grand wizard.
Yeah.
So you start young, and you can get him all the way to the top.
And that little brother is making moves.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you a little Phil Donahue action right now and tell you that little brother became one of the biggest racists in Eastern Pennsylvania.
Started the North Fork chapter of the Proud Boys.
He is Jewish and also a neo-Nazi. How they did it, I don't know.
Christ only knows. So I thought it was going to be about a bullying kind of like B story here, but it's just this next thing is just this ending scene, which is crazy.
So Annie's mom called and wanted to have another play date, and I said that it would be better if she came to our house.
You didn't tell the rules about Hudson the dog cage.
Actually, I did.
Mom, I asked you not to.
Well,
Hudson's just an idiot. No one likes him anyway. He bullies everyone. It was just my turn to be his target.
Our kid's
Why?
pretty introspective. Can you pause this? Hold on.
What 9-year-old that introspective?
9-year-old understanding bullying on this level?
Yeah. And Hudson, of course, I guarantee that private school name. He's
Oh, yeah. Hudson.
the playing of
Hudson's-
the public school system.
If Hudson's your bully, then someone's bullying Hudson.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hudson?
I'm going to guess Red Hook they're shooting that.
That's just, I love it now. You just look for the locations.
Oh,
You
totally.
know
Oh, I
where
do.
they're at. Yeah, really?
They used to shoot the precinct on our street a lot.
On 5th?
Oh, yeah.
When you're on 5th and 2nd?
Yeah, the 9th precinct.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll tell you a good night precinct story, by the way, after this.
Oh, well,
He's got enemies
I tell
in
you
it.
what, I would have thrown a Molotov cocktail in the place if ever I could.
He had enemies. He had a guy on his street that hate him.
One of the cops, you mean?
Yeah.
They're dirty. They're on the take, I think.
All right, finish the scene.
Oh. First, he went after Corey because Corey told everyone their pronouns are they, them. And Hudson started calling Corey a fairy.
Can I just tell you right now that Hudson sounds like Shane Gillis and sounds funny as hell?
Yo, Hudson rules.
Yeah. Hudson's going like, you're gay, dude. Get in this dog cage.
Yeah, tell them they're a fairy.
Tell them I'm going to put him in a German Shepherd's cage.
So then I said that I was bi. And that there's no shame in being true to yourself.
that's right, Noah. So you stood up.
So
for
you suck
Corey.
and fuck.
Yeah, that's my question. Surf and turf.
All right, cool. You're going to do fucking...
That's why I said, though, when he's like, I'm bi, and she's like, going, oh, that's very cool. You told me that. And even that, like, I'd be like, my question would be, what adult is touching you, Noah? Because these are words that somebody
Right.
else told you.
Also, what did you just
There's
get?
no shame in being who you are. Like,
Yeah, what are you, Mick Jagger in 73? You
Yes.
just fucked so much pussy you have to fuck a dude now?
I just found out a year ago that it's all intents and purposes. I wouldn't have talked like that when I was 9.
No way. No way.
And why don't you guys have the dice drop? I don't understand these bisexuals.
Oh!
Balls across the nose. What are these guys? Flip a coin?
Dude, I love this 9-year-old has just got the grasp of bisexuality.
And bullying,
When
yes.
I was 9 years old, I thought The Undertaker was a dead man. I was legitimately like, how is that man's reanimated and he's fighting for the WWF title?
Mom, sexuality is a vast spectrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you need to look at all political problems through the scope of individual, domestic, and systematic.
These kids, the dialogue they get them. Do you think kids are actually
I
this
think
smart
at
now?
9 years old, you're learning what pronoun means, let alone what someone's pronouns are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're finding out the meaning of that
Exactly.
word.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Do you think kids are getting smarter now because of smartphones? Like they understand, like they actually talk like this?
Oh, I don't think they're talking like this, but I'm sure there's a few of them that are somewhat smarter, yeah.
Oh my god!
Is it smarter or are they being like
It's just parrots.
advanced
Yeah, they parrot.
more? I think they're being
But
advanced.
first of all,
more
the
of
other
knowledge.
thing I hate about Law and Order, and the fact that all the criminals are from the Dalton School, is the fact that all the cops, with an exception once in a while, are liberal.
Oh yeah, liberal police
Look at
officer.
her. She's like,
Yeah.
that's good. The kid said, I'm bi. She smack him in the face. What did you say?
I'm sorry, you have a second chance to answer
Get
that
over
question.
here.
You fuck women. I want you to get a badge,
What
bunny.
did you do?
Yeah.
Mom,
Like
I'm
you
not
said, he's
gays
9
no
years old.
more.
This is insane. This is like child sexuality, isn't it?
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah,
Isn't
it's like
everybody
it's
you're
like
supposed to
cuties.
sexualize children.
Why would you put that on to even give a shit?
I just said I was bisexual because sometimes you want to roll with a man, sometimes you want to roll with a
90%
lady.
of TV is weird propaganda where you can
Yeah.
read the writers. You literally, the problem used to be you'd read writers and you go, oh, you're making all the characters sound like a half comedian that's trying to put jokes on.
Yeah.
And now you're just putting propaganda on to say, leave us on the air. We're on we're the right team.
Yeah, where everyone's
It's
all
so
right.
bad.
Everyone's cool. Don't worry. I think that you can have whatever you want. That it
It's
really is a good read.
propaganda.
It.
No,
It's-
you're right. They even said like the cops in Law and Order. That was one of the episodes too. Where they're all sitting in a bar one night and they go, "It's so hard out there, you know, because like Black Lives Matter. It's like I want to be marching with them, but like we have to do our job." Like, Is that what's going on?
Oh God.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they honestly, the police officer that they use on set to probably read. I wonder if they gave up on that. Like when Law and Order
Yes,
first
they
was
always
a
have
show.
like an advisor, right?
Yeah, where they're like, bring the advisor in to read the script. He's like, cops don't talk like that, and they're like, oh, Dick
Right.
Wolf's like, we got rid of him about
Right.
15 years ago.
Right.
Now they're just going like, yeah. Now it sounds more like a dance school. How instructors at a dance school talk than it does like a precinct, where they're like, I really
Good girl. Define your truth.
Oh my God, girl! That man was committing a crime, and I said, "What is a crime? It's a crime if you don't love yourself."
I've said that there is also a disproportionate representation right now, which I know is the other direction before, but it's weird to see the disproportionate number of gay people in a commercial. It's like 3 gay couples and 1 interracial couple.
Right.
That's the representative of everyone who's going to this restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the overcompensation where they go, "Sorry, white people don't eat Cheerios. We
what
will
was
not
that?
show you in our commercials."
What was the commercial for? We saw.
That was like that was like an old DePaulo bit where he was like, "Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's the home security system." He goes, "That's who's breaking in, a guy that looks like a quarterback in the Big Ten." I was like,
There's a Geico or Progressive commercial. She's going to try to find it. One of them that is.
Progressive.
Oh, it might be Progressive.
Dude, that's so funny. If it is progressive, you're like, you can't do that. You can't be named that.
If it is
and do
Progressive,
that.
I almost respect it more now. I'm like, you know what? You
It's
owned
on
it.
brand.
Yeah. And when they were pitching it, someone went, "That's genius.
It's
it aligns perfectly with our corporate strategy."
It's an interracial gay couple with their interracial adopted boy and girl's kids, and they're just complaining about the car alarms going off, and they have to get it fixed or something. And it's just like they don't acknowledge it, which is almost the best way they do that. They don't acknowledge it in any way, so they do normalize it. But I rewound something that gets to the part of the game I was watching or something, and just saw it again. I was like, wait a second, is that like a family? It's so weird looking.
But my favorite was the commercials where they just try to get it past you, like you're not going to notice that a Coke commercial has 3 women and 1 man, and they're all watching the game. None of them are wearing sports apparel.
Yeah.
When they're drinking Coca-Cola and they're like, "For the big game," and they're like all on the edge of their seat, like, "Ah!" Like those people give a fuck about it's fat white dudes with sauce, or it's like guys.
The purple team won.
It's like a black guy in an old Eddie George Titans jersey, and he's just like, "This, I fucking work at Walmart. This is everything to me." But they don't. Coke doesn't show that. They show 4 models that could be an Abercrombie ad.
Right.
It's fucking
If
crazy.
they showed 3 chicks and 1 gay guy just watching a Justin Timberlake halftime show, I go, yeah, that makes
exactly.
sense. That makes sense. Everybody else is out smoking cigarettes and weed.
I feel like everyone's performing for everyone else. Like the writing on this, the writing on Law and Order is performing for the writers on fucking.
Absolutely. Everybody's like, it's just like,
Look how cool I am.
just touching in, like,
Yeah.
hey.
But
Guys,
the problem is
don't
also
think-
Kids that are bisexual are cool.
the problem is also
This is particularly egregious,
Just some
even in the
9-year-old
world of madness.
just some
this
9
is particularly
the problem is
a
also
9-year-old smoking an unfiltered cigarette. Sorry, going like, "Yeah, I had a bird and then I had a bloke. I had a little bit of both. I don't mind."
but I'm
This is
saying-
crazy.
Yeah, it really. But it's also just like no one can get past the underlying question. That's not the point of it at all. So if you say something like that, he goes, "That's a ridiculous lineup for that commercial." They go, "You have a problem with gay people?" Like, no.
No, but if you're selling me a
be as
product,
gay as you're going to be. I just don't understand why you're like. It's like this isn't what this would look like.
if you're selling me a commercial,
I'm
for
not going to
Auto-
listen to this in Andy Cohen's studio.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're right. You know what? The ground's going to start rumbling. You're going to start hearing stuff break. One of the lights is going to fall off like
Oh my
Indiana
God.
Jones, and everything's collapsing.
We've angered the cum volcano behind you.
Well, bring up that racist couple on the train that got fired from their dealership. I think they worked at a Long Island car dealership.
Together?
Yeah, it was a racist
great.
couple on the Long Island on the LIRR.
Oh, I think I saw this one.
Did you see this one?
Yeah,
and they were
couple
like
weeks ago.
yelling. They were like yelling at a family that looked like immigrants.
They ain't taking over my country.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't you. They were like.
I wish it was Philly.
It was like
what a better accent.
It was
for
like
this.
send me to jail, bro. That's
know.
what it was. It was like send me to jail.
First of all, it's not a better accent for it.
What? Oh, the Philly thing?
Yeah.
I mean, Philly and Long Island
to be garbage racist.
Be garbage
What's that?
racist.
To be garbage
Yeah.
racist stuff.
That is really the
pretty
main-
funny accent.
We
yours.
like our New York accent for this stuff.
Yeah, but where's that old?
Oh,
Where's that
boy.
old Lower East Side?
Hey,
you know,
this guy. The people in Long Island have the New York accent.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, Long Island is the New York accent.
why
now.
don't you
That's
get
where it
yourself a
lives.
hot dog? You can get out of my name.
Oh yeah, that Mid-Atlantic though. You go
Hot
up to
dog wig
Baltimore.
Yeah, Philly's they're great.
It's one of my favorite weird accents that I never knew until I moved to the East Coast.
Yeah, it's a real specific one.
You don't even realize it.
You get it in The Wire a lot.
The Wire, yeah.
No, not as much as you. One of my big complaints in The Wire was when they had a couple of those Baltimore guys. I was like, oh, there's that Baltimore accent.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't. I thought that was weird
Oh,
too.
it used to piss me off.
But when
all
it gets
the
to the old men cops, they were always had it.
Yes, but the same thing pissed me off in Casino. If you're going to make the movie about Chicago, everybody has to do the accent. Pesci did it. De Niro's just like,
Yeah, but no one else has that. No one else has that Northern Chicago.
yes.
Yeah, that kind of like.
I'm saying De
They're not
Niro's
even
just
doing
like,
this.
I'm not doing an accent.
Yeah.
Well, De Niro's not doing it. And then you can't make anybody else do it.
Scorsese's like, Bobby, please. He goes,
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not good at accents.
I'm gonna
I knew.
forget it after a little bit.
I saw him in this movie from like early on in his career. Right after Raging Bull, he did a movie. It was a good movie, The Mission or something. But anyway, it was like set in like 1800 or 1700. And he was doing a New York accent now.
Really?
Yes.
That's so funny. He's like, a little bit.
He's like,
I
yeah,
don't know.
whatever, yeah.
I don't know what's happening. That is great.
Well,
Chicago
my
mob.
lady, there's a flip side to that coin.
Yeah. I always love that thought of like people that should be doing certain accents and they're just like, fuck you. I
Yeah,
don't do
but
that.
they're big enough to get away with it. But
Yeah.
I mean, Pesci did it perfectly.
Yeah. Because Pesci has the perfect New York or the tri-state area.
Yeah.
Fucked up big time, Frankie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah. That was a great line. It was
Even
a
when he
great
goes,
delivery.
Even when he goes,
Charlie M.
Yeah.
Charlie M. You made me pop your eye out of your socket for that fucking prick.
Hilarious.
Do him a favor.
that's it.
Do him the favor.
By the way, Casino, not a great movie.
Really? I love it.
Let me tell you something. Casino, better than the other overrated movie that won Best Picture. I always forget what it's called. From Boston. Scorsese.
Departed.
The Departed.
Oh. There's
You
a
didn't like
couple of
Departed?
good scenes.
Yeah.
These movies are shit compared to like the streamline of Goodfellas and Mean Streets and Taxi
Yeah.
Driver and even Raging Bull. But Casino, the reason I love Sharon Stone.
She was great.
Yeah.
She's the greatest.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But the truth is, and it's heresy to say, James Woods should have played De Niro's part.
Yeah.
And James Woods' part should have been played by somebody, I don't know who, but somebody.
Somebody scummier.
Somebody more sexual, too.
Yeah, because you didn't believe how he
James
had
Woods
to
is too nerd. He should have played De Niro. Was not great in that movie.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
That's a bold call, but I can
a
see
terrible
Well,
that.
I'm
thing to say.
as you just said that, I was like, I'm trying to think of any of my favorite things in that movie or him. It's not.
You know
at
what's
all.
another?
No.
You talk about The Departed, though. That was something where Jack Nicholson was like, "I ain't doing the accent." And they're like, "We need you to do it once or twice," and he goes, "I'll do it twice."
You just nailed the whole problem with The Departed. Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest actors of all time, so miscast for that part.
Not Whitey. I mean, Whitey
And-
Bulger.
yes.
he's supposed to be Whitey Bulger. It's supposed to
And
be
you're supposed to be Irish. You start out with a wild sex scene.
yeah.
That's not the Irish.
Even
way.
when he puts the coke in, and he's like, "Eh."
That's not the fucking.
Yeah.
He was too much for that.
Did you like Black Mass? Is that the one you're saying?
Blast
No,
with
but I
the-
liked his tooth.
Yeah,
that was a nice touch.
He did have the dead tooth and
I know.
the contacts. It was great.
Yeah, that was good. He was
Yeah,
good.
Black Mass was a letdown.
Yeah, it was a letdown.
Because you're supposed to be like, even if you read any of the books about the Winter Hill Gang, you're like, they did a lot of crazy shit.
Yes.
Dan's a big fan of the John Travolta vehicle Gotti.
I saw
Wow.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, Colin, it was one of the best movie going experiences I've ever seen in my life because for the entire time, an audience of strangers got together to laugh at this attempt at a bio.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the beginning of the Gotti thing
Yeah.
where they're under the Queensboro Bridge.
Right.
They're under the 59th Street Bridge, and it's just looking at Manhattan, and it's just a guy in a coat, and it's Travolta as Gotti, and he turns around and he goes, "New York City. My city." And when he said that, everyone in the theater collectively laughed except one guy that I think might have been made in the Gotti family and was there to, because the whole time we would start laughing, he'd like look back and be like, "You guys are fucking up this great
Right.
movie."
New York is so weird.
Wow, it's my city. New York's
so weird.
It was
I watched 20 minutes. I mean, I couldn't believe I had to turn it off. I couldn't turn it off. I
So
couldn't
it's
keep
always
watching.
it was one of those movies.
So bad.
It's Gotti's one of those movies where you watch it where it's just clear who from the Gotti family wrote the movie,
Right,
and it's
right.
his son. It's clearly
Right,
Gotti
that was
Jr.
the
wrote
problem,
it
yeah.
because he was like even the stuff that Gotti Jr. caught in real life. I think for being a snitch or
Right.
something, he caught some shit. they were like in the movie. They're like, no, that was all misunderstood.
Sure.
It's like they did that with the NWA movie with Dr. Dre.
Right.
All the stuff about him tossing around women conveniently wasn't in the movie.
Right.
He was just
Well,
like,
that's the problem. You get the real people, but then they're like, hey, I'm not putting that shit in here.
yeah, the Biggie movie, it was clearly written by Puff Daddy. Because Puff Daddy's like, you should call yourself B.I.G. And he's like, that's a real good
To me, that's
idea.
always my example. Was at the end of it, it was like, hey, Big, we're gonna leave and go in this car procession down the street.
Right.
And he's like, hang on, let me call everybody I love and say something really important about the future. Mom, I'm going to change things as soon as I get home tomorrow.
Oh, let me tell
I'm going
you-
to take care of my kids better, I promise.
Dude,
Faith, I'm sorry about everything. So I got to go to this party now.
I'm trying to think of all the, because we love to make fun of Biop lines, because
Yes.
in Biops,
Yes.
they always do the, that's it. That's the song. When they like say
Yes.
the line, where they go, oh no, I just can't get no satisfaction. And they're like, that's it. Which is fun to think of the Colin Biop, where he just gets off stage at the Cellar and he's like, tough crowd. And someone's like, that's it. That's the show.
Well, it's funny. We did it. That was how the moment happened. So we spent not that
You
moment.
guys had a Biop moment?
We had a buy-up moment, I swear to God. For like a week, I'm asking everybody, give me a name, give me a name,
Yeah.
give me a name for the show. And we're coming up with all these names, like
The Silly
Society-
Bunch.
Yeah, like the Society of Crumb Bums. Was one. Like, everyone's throwing out a million names. And then this one kid that worked on the show that I actually knew from MTV, which is how I started a lot of stories. And he came in and he goes, he gave a suggestion. And it's like 8 at night, we're all so tired. Everybody just looks at me and goes, oh, tough room. And I go, that's it, tough room.
Yeah.
And I go, tough room, tough crowd. And everybody's like, we like tough crowd, but I like tough room better.
Tough room's
I was
good.
going to call it tough room.
Should have been called
But
Tough
everybody's
Room.
like, tough crowd is better because it's more commercial, and I wanted to call it tough room.
Yeah. That's so funny. It was a Biop moment.
But it was one of those moments where the guy, he
that's
said it, and I
great.
go, that's it.
What a tough crowd.
He was giving
what's
a
great?
suggestion that was bad, and he
Me-
goes, tough room.
Me and Dan had to think of a name that was not just our names for this show.
Yes.
That was
An
part of the
evergreen
contract initially.
name, yeah.
They wanted an evergreen name. So we were thinking about it. Dan came over to my house. I was dealing with a medical problem that seemed like an impossibility to me. I couldn't hear out of one ear.
Oh.
It was completely shut down, and I was way early stages freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And we just came at one point. It was like, Bonfire? I was like, yeah, like a campfire? He goes, yeah, like, we sit around and tell stories on the fire. He's like, I like Bonfire. I like Bonfire. All right, let me get back to moping.
Yeah.
Like, I
It was just so he could have a break from his hypochondria.
Yeah.
He just
Right.
came out of his hypochondria. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Submit it to Comedy Central. Hopefully they'll say it's okay.
Yeah, he's like, I think I have brain cancer. Bonfire's good.
Bonfire works. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's
There
what I
wasn't like, that's it. That's the moment. He was just like, I don't know. I'm afraid I'm dying.
I like it. We're around the fire and we're having a yeah. It's good. I do like that.
I feel like you guys leave me out. I was doing laundry and I walked out and I went, I love Bonfire.
Whoa.
She was there. She really.
You feel like they left you out, or they literally left
They
you
totally left me out that whole moment.
You know what?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
the last time she ever did laundry. I forgot.
Yeah, the patriarchy wrote her out of the history.
out? I know. And hit it with a laundry joke right after. You guys are the other picture.
Bonfire, my show.
Bonfire.
Yeah, she goes, put it on a light. Yeah, she came out in a northern Chicago accent. She goes, that's it. If you guys are going to be sitting around, might as well be at a bonfire. Oh my God, that's it.
Lou, what time
love
could
the
we
name.
go to if we never come back from commercial break?
Whoa.
Well, either that or we have to go
Hold on.
a break now and come back for 6 minutes.
What do you say, Bam Margera?
I would say
You do like Bam Margera now?
What's that?
thank you.
He doesn't like Bam Margera currently.
God damn, dude, Colin just fucking knocked it out of the park in one look at Lou. What do you say, Bam Margera?
I say we got to pay the bills at 46 after the hour.
So we have 11 minutes.
All right, we're good.
Enjoy the 11 minutes.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Bow down, down, down.
Down.
Bow down, down, down.
I just heard Johnny Knoxville and Stern yesterday. I had no idea that's a Minutemen song. Did you know that?
No.
It's actually a full song.
Oh, the Jackass theme?
Yeah, he says they do very well just off being the Jackass theme. 'cause I don't
God
think a lot of
damn,
people
dude.
know.
If you have a song that gets turned into a theme song for a major show, that's.
I wonder about that, though. Take that song from, from Friends.
Oh, the Rembrandts.
Like those guys, not that they were probably going to last, but
They would have been total failures if not for that song.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And but you know what the question is you wonder what kind of deal they signed to use it because they weren't shit. The show wasn't
That's
shit.
right.
And so they're like, yeah, $500, take the song, and then it's just now it's
That's a good question. Well, that's a good show. You guys should do a few episodes. happened to the Rembrandts. I'll tell you another one after you get.
Once we get through the
50
Rembrandts.
of those.
Yeah.
But then somebody who was big, like John Sebastian, I think his name is John Sebastian. He was with the Lovin' Spoonful.
Okay.
And you might say, what song did he write? Welcome back.
Oh.
Your dreams were here.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
it out.
Well, then there's always the rumor that Alan Thicke wrote the song for Growing Pains.
Right.
What do we do,
Yeah.
baby? So then you wonder,
I thought he sang it.
Did he sing
I
it?
think Robin Thicke must have sang it because he's the singer in the family.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to make a lot.
But there's also there's a good business in if you can make a not just be a one-hit wonder, but be a one-hit wonder written for rom-com. You'll get used. I mean, Della Mitri will live forever.
Who?
Look around your heart, pretty baby. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the only thing.
And that guy is in every rom-com. You're absolutely right.
Who is it?
His name's what's
Della
his name?
Mitri. I think
Della
it's called,
Mitri.
right?
How?
But if you hear the song, you'd be like, "Oh, this is in every
No, I know that
feel-good."
song. But even like Amos Lee,
Yeah.
just people like that. He knows from Philly.
He
He's
knows
a
he knows every musical band that I've never heard.
You
of.
do?
Oh,
I
like
mentioned
to.
the Flying Burrito Brothers one time, and you knew it, which is such an inside Denver. I only know that because they played.
They're
at the
not
bar.
inside Denver. I mean,
They were big, but I'm saying
Grand
like,
Parsons,
but when you grow up in Denver,
right, they're big
you get
around.
hit over the head with it constantly.
Yeah.
It's like being in San Francisco and they nonstop bring up Journey and Metallica, where they're like,
But San Francisco is like a legendary music place. I don't think Journey and Metallica are there.
the alcoholics that my dad hung out with.
He goes, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You acted like,
Bay City Rollers.
You acted like it was Stockton. San Francisco, for
was
God's
Fresno-
sake.
it was basically
They
Fresno.
only bring up these two bands. It's fucking home of music.
It was basically Fresno, Colin.
Yeah.
What's the
Fresno.
part? What's the
Fresno with water.
Where's the part of California where it's all like Fleetwood Mac and everybody? Laurel Canyon, yeah.
Laurel Canyon.
Oh, yeah, that Laurel Canyon thing. That wasn't bad. But, I mean, it was kind of interesting because the mamas and the papas who were like, even as a little kid, we used to listen. I was like 7. But I was like, these are squares. Like, my parents like this kind of music. And because they were like squares. But even they were like, yeah, we were part of the scene. Like, and then you find out the guy was banging his own daughter.
I mean, yeah, those are some wild stories that came out of the mamas and the papas.
But you know what's great about that is that she was around when she revealed that. It was shocking to the public. But if it was nowadays, there'd be an army of people, therapy. She would probably have cracked up and said, she's like, yeah, it was a fucked up time. Everyone's like, yeah. Woo. And just basically was like moved on from there.
Sure. Well, that's what's going on with the Hugh Hefner documentary right
What?
now on A&E. Have you seen this?
No.
10 parts. It's only 2. It's coming out every Monday, it looks like. But they
What did they
released
say?
the first 2.
Oh, Colin, it gets bad.
What do you mean?
They're saying that he
Fucked a dog at one point.
Well,
They're getting him for grooming and having these young girls, and also behind the scenes being much more like viciously kind of manipulative and controlling of them and stuff.
grooming was his whole. That was his
I think
brand.
he kind of
I
wore it on
agree.
his chest.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get this girl with blonde hair and big boobs to be one of my
think
men.
She's
all-
a Midwest
I think all
girl.
it's
I'm gonna
happening-
fuck her.
He's gone. I think the thing is I think he's gone
And
now.
it's gonna be complex because Playboy, her father used to read it. It's like a deep psychological thing.
I think
He just knows that he's stirring people up.
I
Oh
think
my
this is
God, yeah.
I think this is just a case of everyone thought this probably 35 years ago,
Yeah.
at least, and then he dies, and now they're just kind of doing the thing like, oh yeah, I didn't like it.
In the
Like,
in
the girl's like, well, you guys, you were having fun. He goes, yeah, but then we had to like go play with this guy's old balls and
Oh yeah, well I'm
and-
sure
and
once he
dyke
got
out
older,
with each
but
other and
look,
shit.
It's like if you got molested by the guy that owns a water park. You're like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to ride a lot of slides, but also I had to get fucked in the snack shack
Yeah.
by a guy.
Well, there is something to that too. It's like they again, like someone's saying, is this a bit of like regret revenge? And I'm like, I think it's completely that. I don't think he held anybody down to do anything.
No,
That's always
of
going to be the
course
hard
not.
part.
He
It's just
didn't
going to
do
be
that.
like, it's just going to be they went and they were like, I get what it seems like most of them are going like, I thought I was going to become famous. Everyone keeps pointing out
Right.
Pam Anderson, Anna Nicole Smith, and I forget who the other one was they say, but it's like 3 people that like shot out of it and got
Right.
really big. So they're like, well, I wasn't that. And I just had to suck this guy's old weird dick.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And they had to fuck other guys at the parties.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like his buddies that you're like,
Did Scott,
hey, this guy.
did Scott Baio finger my butt in a grotto?
But Bayo was the kind of guy they're like, yeah, that's the kind of guy.
yeah,
they
that's a
want.
cool, and they don't want the
Yeah.
guy from Shell Oil that fucking
Baron.
smells like ham. You
Yep.
know? They're just
Yeah.
like, hey, Miss November, you got to suck off this VP
Yeah.
of fucking.
He's taking up the wedding ring. She goes, you don't have to take up your wedding ring. Don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna look at you.
It is sad. But I mean, and also remember when nobody's talking about it, fucking Cosby
Yeah.
was there all the time.
So you say that. We watched it yesterday. We had Roy Wood on the show, and we showed him the beginning of the documentary because Jay's been watching it. Cosby prominently featured in the title card.
Well, it shows it in the title card. It shows him playing tennis there, and then they're interviewing him, and he looks at the lady who's interviewing him, and he goes, "Have you ever gotten anything for free?" And then just kind of does the eyebrow
He
wiggle
does that
thing. It's
Cosby wiggle thing. Now
it just looks awful because we know now.
Did you ever see him on that fucking with what's her face from Modern Family?
With
No.
Sofia Vergara?
No.
Oh my God! It's
Bring
him.
up Cosby and because he does one of my
When
favorite
you
Sofia
see-
Vergara impressions.
Oh really?
Ah, yes, Colin. Thank you.
It's uncanny. When you see this, it's insane.
Cosby and Sofia Vergara.
And
Oh my
I was
God.
on when I
Bring
did
it
this.
up.
I did this 9/11 benefit, by the way.
Yeah.
And so Cosby was upstairs. So he wanted to meet me after my set.
Sure.
My girlfriend was with me at the time, and I said, "Do you want to go up?" And she goes, "Yeah, it was meet Cosby." We go up to meet him. He's in this room by himself upstairs, just wearing sweats. He hasn't gone on yet, smoking a cigar. Sees me, sees her, spends the whole 10 minutes jokingly but serious like this. Here's me, here's she. He's like, "So I wanted to
Just looking at her.
say your set was very interesting."
Jesus.
For 10 minutes.
Yeah, just-
Where even she, who was not like some uptight thing, was like, that was a little much. But watch this. Sofia Vergara.
Did you tell him that? Did you meet him when you did the show? The Cosby Show?
No. I mean, I met him, but he doesn't remember that.
Right.
I was only on for 2 seconds.
2 minutes, guys.
Just watch this shit.
Just watch this. I know. God. Oh,
God damn it.
No, it's not. It's more than 2 minutes. You're lying.
I'm not. You're lying.
Wait, go a little bit further up. Yeah. See, he got out of the chair and moved to next to her. Like he got out of his desk.
Time for me to go to sleep.
Wait, he was guest hosting?
What's that? He was guest hosting and he got out of his desk and moved over to sit.
Decided, then I go to sleep faster.
I knew I should have brought the other outfit.
No, the other fellow. What outfit do you have?
I had like 2 minutes ago, I had a more settled outfit. And when I was putting it on, my lipstick went all over it, and I had to change 2 minutes ago.
You mean when you pulled it over your head?
Yes, I put it
all
on my
the
head.
lips, but that would
Oh,
be
here.
inside.
No, because it wasn't fitting.
Let me ask
You know, we Latins like our things tight.
I know, but.
Dude, he is. You can just see him being. I mean, you can see the creep coming off.
Well, he moved from the desk. The joke was a chair, so she had to move over. But it was like a real
Him being creepy with the way he talks too, where he's like, "Well, let's."
Yeah.
That's just fucking weird.
I know.
So the creep vibes before the 9/11 benefit, was there ever any like? This guy's kinda-
Yeah, but I mean, everybody always said he was always hitting on girls, but nobody said he was putting them to sleep. But everybody always knew he was trying to fuck everybody. But not that he was not that he
Yeah,
put them to sleep.
they just knew that he came off creepy.
You just stuttered at the end there, like you just realized. He goes, "I kind of fell asleep in that dressing room."
Son of a bitch, that wasn't 10 minutes at all. That was an hour and 30.
But a lot of people loved it. But I was always like, his comedy was not my style. I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you. I just
It was all-
loved it.
yeah.
It's too cutesy. But plus, I hate when
There's stuff that your
anybody.
grandma liked.
I like
I
himself
hate when
a lot.
anybody positions themselves in comedy like, I'm the normal one. My family's fucking crazy. I'm just a regular guy, just a little bit corny. Indict yourself. Is that so much to ask in comedy? Indict yourself.
Colin-
We're all
Man,
fucking
look,
guilty.
I like to dabble around in some sleeping pussy every now and again. With
There's
a boop and a
nothing
pepper.
better than
Well-
getting on top of a dead body. Dead weight can be very erotic if you hold it correctly. Colin, thank you very much for coming by.
Thanks, guys.
Come back
We
again.
love you very much.
Love you guys.
ColinQuinn.com. Go check out his new hour, The Last Best Hope. I've seen it. It's fucking hilarious.
Good luck, Frank. It's changed a lot. Don't worry. There's
I'm going to
another
come see it
20
again
minutes.
because I
Good.
loved
It's
it.
a new 20.
Really?
25.
I loved it. I went and saw it the first
changed
time
it.
and I loved it. So I'm going to come check it out again. ColinQuinn.com for where he'll be in Bethlehem, PA, Washington, D.C.,
Ooh.
Wilmington, South Orange, New Jersey.
Hey.
That's big.
You hitting
Hey.
the oranges?
Yeah, dude.
They have the same accent as Philly. They I don't like to admit it.
Yeah, don't forget Milwaukee. Big J is going to be at the Milwaukee Improv this Thursday through Saturday.
Tomorrow.
And then he will be in Dallas, New York City, bigjcomedy.com for tickets.
Where's Dan going to be?
Dan So's going to be at Rochester Comedy at the Carlson 3rd through the 5th. Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis, 17th through the 19th, and good nights after that. Tickets and all tour dates, dansoder.com.
Colin, we love you. Thank you very much.
Love you guys.
We
Enjoy
love
tomorrow's show.
We love you, campers. Enjoy the pre-tape. We'll see you on Monday.
You've been listening to SiriusXM's Bonfire. New episodes every Tuesday through Friday mornings, and full shows always on SiriusXM.